Hi.
Hello, everyone.
I got this is how I feel. So see how these are? That's kind of what it feels like after a session sometimes. Hi, Hillary Raven Porter here, Sacred Starseed Healing, Sacred Grid Weaver, and Tameana Starseed Oracle. No idea why I decided to fully introduce myself today because this is second. I was gonna say the third video. This is the second video, so the Antahkarana Chakra Scrub, and we just finished the Sacral. And can you guess who got the session? And I'm so not zoned out like last time. But anyways, who's this?
Galactivize.
Galactivization.
Derek Penadier, the cosmic messenger, and if we're going for a full introduction, I'm a metaphysical activator, light body technician, and Reiki master teacher.
They just feel so crooked. I'm just like, what is going on? Maybe I should just do
Today's
this.
a fun, goofy day.
I'll just do this. Does that feel better? So we did Nentanamate, which is the sacral plane of existence, or I wouldn't say the sacral plane of existence. I mean, I did just say that, but it's basically it's how most people know it based on the Ayurvedic system, right? But there's so much more to the chakras than just that. So this is a behind the scenes video. This is, like I said, video. I guess this is actually video 3 because we did 2 last week from my activation and from Derek's activation, and then this week I got to be treated first. So we're super activated. Let's give you a little heads up.
Oh, yeah.
We mind blown. Mm-hmm. We had this our lovely friend, Hari Dev with Sacred Alchemy Astrology. If you haven't had a chance to have a session with her yet, treat yourself.
Oh, it's good.
What did you say? It's when you said something. Okay, so let me start here. We had a little mini reading. So she does galactic astrology. She overlays it over top of the natal chart. And so where have you come from? I.e., what star system are you part of? Do you originate from? What was your pathway here? Who were supporters? What were the mains? What's your main galactic?
The Galactic Council.
The Galactic Council.
Who's working with you?
And what's your main galactic purpose? And then what's your purpose now? And where are you going?
Earth mission.
Earth mission, thank you. And then where are you heading? What's your next incarnation really of the star seeds?
This is on top of all your regular birth chart reading.
Yeah, so super mind-blowing. And what was funny, so Derek had his done first, and I'm sitting there doing some work in the background. I'm like, and I was like, it'd be funny as if mine was the same. Well, let's just say
I love you.
It was one of the things Derek first said to me when we first met, he was like, I've been chasing you for millennia across the galaxies.
Well, it's true.
And it's actually true. It's pretty entertaining. There was some differences, but where we came from, the planets that were so close, and it's just, anyways, really interesting. So we were super activated. So a little background from myself from this session. It was very physical this time for me, meaning that I felt it working on the physical levels. And I have a lot of physical stuff happening right now. I was awake for all the way up the Antahkarana. No, all the way up to the Antahkarana and then down to about the third eye. And then I was like, I had to have a bio break. And then I came back and then I fell asleep, left my body, was out in the other ethers for a little bit. But yeah, it was definitely very physical for me this time. And I didn't come out all just watch the video from last week and you'll see I was like, what's going on, right? And that's the difference, is every session is slightly different. You're never going to get the same thing twice, really. So, yeah.
It was amazing. And this, having this astrology reading, the Galactic Astrology, really opened up a whole layer of key codes and a new, it was a giant field. Now, we do live in those areas and dive into them, but this was deep, right? This is serious business.
I remember.
So, exactly.
A cellular, opening.
So that opened up a whole bunch to then occur because it was fresh from today for the Tameana session because it was major, right? Some other things that got tapped into was also there was these 7 galactic tasks that for you that went for the 7 planes for the galactic cord.
So that's in the Tameana session.
In the Tameana session, exactly. After you go through the foundational, then you do the galactic chord after, right? 7 for each. And it just got so wild with that. And one of them was also tapping into and doing deeper research on one of the planetary home bases that came in. I can't remember if that one was one that you had lived on or were working with. Because there was so much info from there,
like
so how you take your north node and tells you a bunch of stuff in Uranus.
Oh, that was my north node. Each of them
have their own headline, right?
Yeah, that was actually
and they guide you.
That was part of the north node.
That was part of the north node? Procyon?
Yeah, Procyon.
Cool.
Yeah.
So it was doing deeper research into that, but other things that came up too was also like figuring out what stage you are in your light body. If people don't know, there's 12 stages. And when you start at the lowest density, you're at the first level. No level's more important than the others. It's just an enlightening of our being, right? An ascension process. You could be at 12 and skip the first 3 steps. You're still going to have to do them all to complete it. So it was like investigating what stages we were at the light body. Mm-hmm. So cool stuff.
And that's one of the things that can come through so this doesn't happen with all Tameana practitioners. This is just something that kind of started coming through when I was trained and then when Dara was trained. So I end up writing sometimes paragraphs and sometimes there's nothing, but and then Derek ends up writing things about downloads, information, what to do, processes, homework, and that's a way to continue the journey at home. So we send this information after a session, a Tameana session, and it's like, okay, now go do this homework. Continue this journey at home. Continue this activation. Continue this next layer of your becoming, like back to you. Mm-hmm. So it's not becoming somebody new. It's literally coming back to you full circle without all that crap.
Yeah. And receiving information too about how much current each person's body is holding.
Yeah.
How much energy are you bringing in? What's happening on Earth and that grid, and how it assimilates into your body. So we definitely go into there. Those another one that we didn't mention the last few times. But the nervous system is huge with every single one. That's how the energy connects into the body when it first reaches there. It's like your stellar nervous system is more what I call it. And then that mixes with your central nervous system and it goes from there. Yeah. And that's a big play. So with the Tameana, you're always getting work done on your nervous system no matter what else is going on.
Anytime you're actually doing awakening work or expanding your consciousness, it's so important to take care of your nervous system.
Yep.
Like my nervous system is one of my, I won't say weaker areas, but it's one of those areas that's needed a lot of love. I've had a lot of trauma and car accidents and stuff like that. And so my nervous system is a little scared. But when you're running current and you're doing the work and you're expanding your consciousness, there's so much heat that goes through your nervous system. I'm a huge proponent of skullcap tea. Herbs have helped me through it. Mm-hmm. I mean, the tuning forks have been amazing. And so this level of Antahkarana was interesting. So up until we hit the Antahkarana symbols, it was very, very physical, I found. The stuff that you talked about and like working on my solar plexus a lot, working on my core muscles a lot, which is truth, working on my nervous system and stuff like that.
Yeah, and when we were talking about Earth mission too and different things, sometimes it unlocks depending on what you're doing and where you are on Earth. It might be core root patterns to unlock. It might be healing some different emotional components. And for other people, let's say you were doing various work for ease of conversation, I'll say light worker, but what area? And it can start to unfold that story over many uses and many sessions to kind of get an idea. Are you an anchor point? Are you shifting things for the collective? Are you an energy worker? Are you, meant to work with crystals? Astrology, all these different things can come up and we can receive these messages to help create that spiritual guidance, co-creating with spirit, of course, right?
Yeah, and then
cool stuff.
Helping you decode the
that's
divine.
The perfect word.
That's my favorite.
Decode your human design.
Yeah. It's also really fun. I always find, I think I mentioned this last video, when we get to the crown, the guides get so excited and they're like, oh my goodness, we're going into Antahkarana. Because you go up from the Siddha up to Homatrahi, so from the root up to the crown. And then once you get to the crown, that's when you transfer over. That's when you go over onto the Antahkarana.
The 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th dimensions, right?
And then you go back down from homataki down to the sadaha, right? So back from the crown to the root. But when we get up to the crown and we're about to go from the one focal symbol up to the Antahkarana, they're just like, oh my goodness, we're so excited. Like, you have to be like, okay, you guys. And the codes will come through. It's like, you said today that the messages were coming through even before you'd fully activated the crystals.
Yeah, they were faster than I could even write them down.
They get we're waiting for that day where literally, as we're activating, our brain just goes ding, and then it just starts recording what we're seeing and what's coming through, so we don't actually have to write anything.
Sacred geometry, images come through. It's a lot of stuff. It's pretty fascinating.
They're also very...
I was just saying, the guides, they reside in those dimensions, right? And other parallel dimensions of those versions, but they're all in the upper planes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they're very supportive, and they get very excited. This time they were very excited for... they get very excited for the projects. And when you're doing things that are in alignment, they are there to support you. And so today they were just very much like, oh, we're so excited for your next. But we have lots of projects on the go right now. A lot of offerings coming out. And they were just like so super excited for one of the light code.
Light language album.
Yeah, that are coming. And they're just like, oh, we can't wait. When is it happening? And I was like, okay, like they will forget that we only have so much time in a day, even though you can learn to extend time and shrink time. Totally possible. 100%. But they forget that it's literally like, you're like, no, I need to sleep. I need to eat. And there still is some time construct because they live in this space where it's like, what? Go forward, go backwards. Sweet, sounds good. Well, we just went back 3 days. No, we're going forward 5 days. Like so you have to remind them sometimes. Compressing
time and all that stuff too, right?
Yeah. So
it's neat. Humans can biomorph time. That's just how it rolls.
We can do it too. And I know you've done it at some point. You walk those 6 blocks and you listen to like 2 songs and you're like, how
did I get there so quick?
You're like, how is that possible, right?
Other times it feels like it takes forever to get there, but it's your consciousness that's operating that, right? And the more we can train ourselves into it, the more we can compress time to fit more into a zone so we can get everything done that we need. But if we're worried and panicking, you know what happens to time then. It goes haywire.
And you're like, I can't get anything done. And you're like, well...
It's beyond time. It's quantum, right?
It's quantum. Living in the... Our new word, so we like to make up words. Our new word is contemplation.
So when you're meditating, you can contemplate.
Okay, so that's the update for today. Another one will be coming through because tomorrow's Derek's turn to be on the table and my turn to activate. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free, reach out. We're here for you. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Beautiful evening to you.